Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Patreon podcast. This week, I wanted to talk about the idea of spending money on potential. And that's something that I've talked about quite a bit in the past, where I feel that money can be kind of considered potential energy for either future projects or to support other artists. And I like the idea of considering it as something that is designed to be gathered and spent rather than just gathered. And that was a trap that I fell into a long time ago, where I was just kind of hoarding the meager income that I got through my creative works, and I wasn't really spending it on anything. And I could have been using that money to build a new computer or to get new equipment for my studio or lots of just basically anything. But instead, I felt the need to hoard all of this for a rainy day, where really that's kind of the worst situation for money to be in. I feel that unless you have it in like an investment account or something like that, if it's just sitting in a bank account, it's doing nothing. It's inert. But if you have it working for you, if you purchase equipment, or you purchase like an ad campaign, or you work with an artist and you work together to get some really killer album art or something like that, like all of that works toward getting that money back again, like it's potential energy to recover that money. And I think that there's just a lot to be said about that. And there's another really lovely quote that I unfortunately can't remember who said it, but when you buy an album, you're really paying for the artist's next album. And I really like the idea of that, where like when you support an artist, you are supporting them to continue their work. You're not necessarily paying them for the work that they did, but you are helping them continue that work. And I mean, beyond that, when you buy a product, you're giving that company permission to create more of that product. You're spending your money for the potential of more of that to be made in the future, or more iterations on it, or anything like that. Another one I was thinking of, and this is a little bit darker, but when you buy a burger, you didn't kill that cow. That cow was already gone. But it enables the industry to kill another one. And I don't know if I really like that one, but it's also like really poignant when you think about it, because what you're doing is you're dictating the future with how you spend your money. You're not dictating the past. And I think that it's really valuable to be aware of how to spend that potential energy you have, because it's really easy to just let it fall by the wayside or sit in a bank account like mine was doing for a very long time. And I'm by no means successful. I should put that out there. But I also want to make sure that like the potential energy I do have, I am expending in useful ways and not just letting it sit there. Because if it's just sitting there, then it's just a wasted, and there's a lot of things that you could be doing with it. Heck, even, and this is something that I've been doing more recently, but even if I have over a certain threshold in my Tallbeard Studios bank account, all that just goes right to mortgage. And that's huge for me. Like, being able to pay off my mortgage and live debt free is a very large step in toward like being financially independent, being debt free, and working for myself instead of another company. And the idea of spending money or throwing money into the pit of a debt feels real bad. Where it's just like, man, I had all this money and now I don't. And there's like a very small chip in this monolith of a debt that I have. But every little bit helps, especially in the beginning. And I think that the more you work on that and the more you chip away at it, the easier it's going to be in the future. And again, you're powering potential energy. You're powering the ability to do something different in the future. And I think that it's just important to keep that in mind. So my big focus right now has been paying off the mortgage and been trying to work toward living debt free. And I still have a couple years to go, but at least I have a goal and I'm working toward it. And that's kind of the important part there. So yeah, if you have any questions about this, I know money's kind of it's a touchy subject. Some people love talking about money. I love talking about money, because I mean, everybody needs it. But I know that it's a touchy subject for some people. So if you want to talk about it, please reach out in the comments. I'm more than happy to chat with you further on this. Otherwise, thank you so much for being a Patreon supporter, and thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful Friday and a fabulous weekend, and I will talk to you in the next one. Be remarkable.